It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is What Made the Cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Doug Smith brings you this portion of the program, an incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, and Mitsubishi in the family of the Doug Smith dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Give it a shot today. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Scott Springer covers the Cincinnati Bearcats for the Cincinnati Enquirer. Thanks for hanging out with us, Scott. What's going on, man?
Man, we have to talk football. I was calling for those concert tickets.
Hey, listen. Clean comedy hits hard here in Salt Lake City, man.
Hey, Brian Regan's a tough ticket.
Yeah.
These are Brian Regan and your Nate Bargatze's. Those guys always end up adding third and fourth shows because they're like, why am I selling out in Salt Lake so much? Because you don't say the F word that much in your set. Good for you.
Well,
it's good.
You know what? It takes a special kind of clever there. My son just saw Nate Bargatze here in town. I know he's heading that way.
He said, I think he said it this week on game day, right? He goes, I'm making a business decision here. I'm picking BYU for his picks that he had because it was like
he's coming
he
here.
knows he always has multiple shows here in Salt Lake. So, Scott, be honest with us. How much did you guys see it coming here with Scott Satterfield figuring things out with these guys? Look, talent has never been really an issue at Cincinnati. It was putting it all together, and, man, it seems like they have. But I think we've all been shocked by what the Bearcats have done this year. Where are you at on that?
Yeah, I mean, preseason I had them at 7 wins, but, you know, they have, 3 to play after 4 total to play. So yeah, they're already at 7. So, you know, we'll see what happens. It's a crazy year in the Big 12, a fair amount of parity, and the biggest difference with this team is in years past they would lose games that got kind of close or things would go wrong. They actually had so many games where they outgained the opponent and managed to lose. And for instance, the last game against Baylor, they took off from them, and then next thing you know, Baylor's within a touchdown, and then the score ends up 41-20. Iowa State, they blew their doors off in the first half, but Iowa State came back on them. Still, Cincinnati hung on and won. So they're figuring out ways to win and not ways to lose, which is what was happening in the past, and they're not making mistakes. They're not really turning the ball over. Brendan Sorsby has 1 interception that came in game 1 against Nebraska. If that's a touchdown, they're 8-0, and no one would have figured that at all. I think everyone figured improvement and figured bowl game, but to the extent where they are right now, and let's be fair, there's still a lot of football to play yet, but no one would have guessed 7-1 at this point.
We knew Sorsby coming in was talented, but I didn't expect a season like this from him. How has he been different this year compared to the past?
I think it's just a lot of confidence. He comes out and is more and more confident, and the offensive line has protected him. He's only been sacked twice. He takes them out for very expensive steaks every week and keeps them fed and happy, and that's working for him. And you know, when he's able to do some other things and be protected, he actually runs the ball pretty well. He's not really one to take the slide. He's a fairly aggressive runner. And, you know, just more talent surrounding them. The receivers a little bit better, a little bit faster, and all those things, you know, when they came into the league 2 years ago, a lot of people said they didn't really look the part, the Big 12 part, necessarily, you know, frame size, speed-wise, and all that. So with personnel, and you know, to tell you the truth, they probably have more personnel people than the Bengals, and that's certainly showing this year. But they've just put a lot of work into the team, and they all seem to get along. You know, the culture thing, everyone has culture, but it seems to work, and so they're buying into all the stuff that they say in practice, and they get along. They're eating nice steaks and scoring some points.
You know, I think that a lot of people saw. I mean, we've done the Big 12 media days for the past 3 years since BYU got in, and then of course when Utah got in, then our whole market was all in, and you know we go after and cover these teams extensively. And Scott Satterfield was one of these guys that I think that we looked at every time that the Big 12 media days would come around. I think this last year especially, we were like, man, this guy's got to figure it out, because I don't know how much longer you can be at Cincinnati, get kind of the talent you have. those people are not that far removed from a college football playoff and the days that Luke Fickell brought them of, exceptional seasons of football. And I know the Big 12 is different, but what has Coach Satterfield done that's been so different too? Because it seems like he's figured some things out. It's one thing to have your quarterback turn a corner, grow up, so to speak, but what has the head coach done for this team?
Well, I think it's the organization, mainly, the personnel department, like I said, having a general manager and so many people that are looking at tape every day of recruits and looking in the transfer portal. They've made some absolute steals in the transfer portal. One of them is linebacker Jake Golday, who's probably going to play in the NFL, and they find him at Central Arkansas. He's a 6'4", 240-pound guy that runs really fast, tackles really hard, and he just wasn't there. One of the receivers, Jeff Caldwell's a big 6'5" guy out of Lindenwood, which is somewhere in Missouri. I've never been there, but he's a target they can throw to. And then they've gotten other guys. Cyrus Allen has been the top receiver. He was at Texas A&M. All these guys are 2 and 3 schools now. It's tough to remember the resumes, but I think Louisiana Tech before that. But they all seem to be happy to be in a Power 4 conference and playing at this level of competition. And then you're right. To be fair, and I've said this, and not everyone buys into it, but Luke Fickell did what he did in the American. And they had a great year in the American. I'm not so sure they would have the same year in the Big 12. Now, they had tremendous players, Desmond Ridder and Sauce Gardner and guys, Jerome Ford. Those guys are in the NFL, or at least trying to be. I just don't think they would have had the same results, because I can remember, even when they had game day in Cincinnati, the last game they played Tulsa. So not knocking Tulsa, but that's not really a game day marquee game. When you're thinking Cincinnati Tulsa, it really doesn't push the meter too much. But I think they owed the Bearcats one, and they came and did game day that day, and that was a 1-score game. So just a totally different league. The competition between each team, you never know. You can't take anyone lightly. Everyone has players.
Utah's a 10.5-point favorite in this game. Are you surprised by that?
Yeah. I guess yes and no. I don't know. I think the biggest spread they had was the Nebraska game to start the season. But, Utah's awfully tough at home. And, when you rack up all those yards and you throw in another quarterback and he continues to get it done. I mean, what did they allowed Colorado like -18 in the first half, and they had nearly 400. I mean, that one's over. The best thing Primetime could have done was gotten on the bus at that point. But
trust me, he wanted to.
I bet he did. Yeah. And when you're talking moving through time zones and the travel and all that stuff, injuries, we don't know for sure which one of the quarterbacks is going to go, but I think Dampier or Ficklin, either one is just as good as the other. Based on one game. I mean, I can't tell you the history of Bird Ficklin, but he's got a cool name and he ran all over the place. And so, I think you're going to see 2 decent offenses, but Utah also has a pretty tough defense, and we'll see how the Bearcats do with the noise. I will tell you, Arrowhead Stadium was about as loud as I've ever heard. So I know Utah gets loud, but it's going to have to be really, really loud to impress me over that. But so there's the challenge to the muss from the Low Life reporter.
Challenge accepted, I'm sure.
Throw it out there.
Yeah.
Listen, our producer Alex will make he'll make a promo out of that immediately, so that the muss gets the message before the week goes on. I was looking at this too, and I know that Evan Pryor has been. I think people are wondering about what his status is going to be. Obviously, we'll find out a little bit more tonight. But obviously, missing on one of your better players, if you're Scott Satterfield, that's not a good place to be in. What would they be missing without him?
He's a little different runner than Tawee Walker. They've been running both those guys, and they've varied on the starts. Pryor's running style has more spurtability or whatever. He can, elusive. He's kind of the so-called home run hitter, where Walker is the smash mouth, straight ahead guy. And he's had some tremendous hits on people, Walker has. And he's ran the ball, been the steady runner before for Wisconsin. So it won't be anything new for him to get more carries. I'm sure he's probably looking forward to getting more carries. But I don't think Fryer's going to play if you just read between the lines. They already kind of said he's going to be out, at least listed as out, and they're looking at a bye week next week, and they've already said they're looking forward to the following week. So I don't think Fryer's going to play. Be shocked. The guys that would come in his place, a guy named Manny Covey came in against Texas Tech a year ago. Another fast guy, didn't really run the ball for a ton of yards, but he caught 6 passes for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a touchdown called back this year at Kansas on a punt return. So he's a pretty elusive, shifty guy. And then there's another guy, Chance Williams, transferred from Grambling State a couple years ago. He got some carries in the last game. But I think Walker's probably going to get most of the load. But we'll see. It probably depends on what Utah does defensively and what's working for Cincinnati offensively. They've scored a ton of points. Both these teams have scored, over 38 points a game. So I expect it to be high scoring and exciting, and what the people pay for to see things, on ESPN at night.
When people look at Utah, the offensive line really stands out, and for good reason. When you've got 2 tackles that might go in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft, how does that Cincinnati defensive front match up with Utah's offensive line?
If Dante Corleone is healthy, that certainly helps matters. He's been playing. I don't know that he's been 100% all year. They play a 3-3-5. Now, my guess, and what Satterfield has alluded to, is that they might be stacking the box a little bit more based on the Utah running attack. But Corleone is just it's hard to describe. He's a little bit over 6 foot tall, but 330 some odd pounds, just solid rock, extremely strong. And he gets a great push, doesn't get a ton of sacks. He occupies people, and that allows other guys to come in. But, yeah, I think the Bearcats will have their hands full with that offensive line. On the other hand, their offensive line isn't too bad either because, when Sorsby's only been sacked twice, they've done a decent job. And they've actually performed better than last year's offensive line, and 3 of those guys got NFL looks. So, It's a strange year. It's a fun year. It's good to see him win because it makes my job easier, and that's what we're all here for, right?
Absolutely. Where does this team – with the rest of the schedule matching up, now that we start to get to the year, and it's funny because we'll do strength of schedule before we even know who these freaking teams are, before the season's out. But by the end of it, Cincinnati's got quite a go here, the last 4 weeks of the season for them. It's going to be a tough row to hoe, but everybody they've got to go through it, and people are dealing with injuries. How do they match up in the next few games here as it starts to stack up? And I know that the good news is you're not a coach who's going to go, we just take it one game at a time. But what does the next 4 games look like for the Bearcats?
Well, you get a week off, so they played 6 straight. So you have a week off before you play Arizona, so that should help heal some guys up. I'd be lying if I told you I knew a ton about Arizona other than, saw their coach at Media Day and all that. And they're as potent as anyone. The BYU game, I think Cincinnati people would be happy to have that one at home, and they have it at home.
Right.
November 22nd. But as you guys know, cold weather is not going to affect the Cougars or would it the Utes coming here. It's like you guys have seen your fill of cold and snow and stuff like that. So even if it is a brisk November day or night, that's not going to affect them any. But I think diehard Cincinnati fans would like another shot at BYU. They actually gave them a decent game 2 years ago, and some turnovers cost them that game. And then you go to Fort Worth against TCU. They're always very tough there. So you're right. It's you want to get as many as you can. I think if they were to beat Utah, that would give them a great deal of confidence. But they should in no way get a big head and think that, well, you're just going to sweep the next 3. So it's not right there. But yeah, they definitely need, in my opinion, to at least get another win to get a decent bowl game. But to tell you the truth, they don't think of it that way. I mean, all year long, their goals are listed, and when you walk in the new performance facility that they have, which is immaculate, they list the game goals, and then like number 4 is get to Dallas for the Big 12 championship game. And then, now with the way things are going, you can look at that championship game and you get a shot at the playoff if you get beyond that. So they're thinking that. Whether or not it's justified, I guess we'll find out late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. I know we got an early flight, so there won't be a whole lot of sleep that night.
Certainly not. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the Big 12 race overall. We kind of figured, based on last year, that things would be kind of crazy and wide open, and I think that's exactly what we're getting, especially after Texas Tech got some injuries and lost at Arizona State. How do you view the race right now, and who do you think is going to come out on top?
I know we're talking, if you're Utah people, that you don't like to hear that BYU looks good, but BYU looks good. And it's amazing what the freshman quarterback's doing. So they're certainly the one that you would want to, take a shot at. I think Utah's still very well in it. Arizona State, I wonder with Levitt out, what's going on there, because they've been susceptible without him. I thought Iowa State was a decent team. Whether or not they can get back up into things, I'm not sure. But it seems like the top. Well, Texas Tech, I don't want to forget them. What I worry about is the backup quarterback that had such a great game. I think it was against Utah.
Yeah.
He's out, so I don't know how that affects them. Let's face it, they've got more money. They might have 3 or 4 quarterbacks there waiting.
Great point.
In the wings. They just open the bank vault and bring another one in there. So can't mess with that oil money. It's an immaculate stadium out there, and they're not throwing tortillas anymore. I don't know if that's like kryptonite where you took the tortillas away from them. I'm not sure.
The way they've been talking about the attention the tortillas have gotten has been next level. We haven't talked more about tortillas across this conference than anything else in a long time. So I'm sure Brett Yormark loves spending time talking about the tortillas. It's going to be a fun one, Scott. We're looking forward to it. I'm assuming first trip out for you to be able to see one here at Rice Eccles Stadium?
I've been to the stadium. I've not been to a game. So obviously was at the BYU game 2 years ago, and I've been out to your place for basketball. And I'm coming out tomorrow. One of my sons and his wife actually live in Sandy, so I'll get to see them and check some things out and maybe hit the Red Iguana. That's a great place. I'm giving them a free commercial there.
Well, don't worry. We do it quite enough. I'll give you a tip, though, so you don't have to do the full waiting in line. Right around the corner is Red Iguana 2. Same exact menu.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, same exact menu.
Much shorter wait.
Same area?
It's probably, 4 blocks away, JJ? 5 blocks away?
It's odd, but it's
right
fact.
there. It's a little bit cleaner. Just giving you a little tip and a little bit less of a wait. So Red Iguana 2 right around the corner.
I didn't know that. That's an excellent tip.
It's same company, same people. They're pumping out the same
There's
stuff.
so much demand. They had to build a 2 down the street.
Yeah, so it's good. Either way. Well, you look, if you drive by and you see the Red Iguana line is going down North Temple there, then just, head on down and find yourself at the Red Iguana 2. It's fine. If you like the nostalgia and I like to push the door open and it squeaks, it's got all those stickers on it, fine.
Yeah.
If not, you have a little bit better of a situation.
Well, they're a little short on restrooms in there, too, which, you eat too much of that stuff, that could be an issue.
Oh, you definitely need that access.
You're talking about doing a great commercial for Red Iguana. We got you covered. Boom. All right. Scott, we're looking forward to it. And good luck this weekend on your travels and have fun with the family. And then we'll see you on Saturday.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
There you go. Scott Springer, Cincinnati Enquirer.